The girlfriend is out of town. This means I'm recording an absolutely unhealthy amount of magic. We're playing a GP worth of magic today. 15 rounds. Let's go. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com, and our deck list comes to us indirectly from Bryce, who emailed me about wanting to see a good budget deck. Now, specifically, they were talking about the context of Magic Online, not paper Magic. And that distinction matters a whole lot here, because Oops All Spells is about 250 ticks, or $250 online, which is incredibly affordable. And there's a couple other combo decks that kind of go like lock in for this ballpark. And as far as paper Magic goes, it'll still be pretty affordable there because there's no dual lands. There are, in fact, no lands, or at least not any lands on the front of the card. This deck abuses kind of the way the flip cards work. There are a couple of lands in this deck that aren't lands on the front of the card, they're something else, and this is going to be very important because of how Undercity Informer as well as Balustrade Spy work. Both of them essentially work in the same way. Balustrade Spy's text is, when it enters the battlefield, target player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card, and put those cards into their graveyard. And Undercity Informer does the same thing, except you have to sacrifice a creature, usually itself. So what we are going to do is put our entire deck into our graveyard. We don't need it, at least not in our library. Then what's going to happen is 4 Narcomoebas are going to enter play. We will use one of those to Cabal Therapy our opponent and just make sure the coast is clear. And once we've checked that the coast is clear, we're going to sacrifice the remaining 3 Narcomoebas to cast a Dread Return. This targets Thassa's Oracle, and we're going to win the game. We are attempting to win the game on turn 1 as frequently as possible. Will the deck always do that? No, absolutely not, but I believe the deck can go all the way down to 4 cards and still just win the game on turn 1. You can do something like Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Balustrade Spy, and that is still good enough to get a win, oddly enough. To make sure that we have some resiliency, we have Pact of Negation as a free counterspell, and we don't really care about the downside of this card, because if we cast a Pact of Negation when we're going for it, we're going to have 0 cards in our library if we miss, and that almost always means that we lose the game. However, there's a caveat. There is a Memory's Journey in this deck list. Ignore the regular cost. We will pretty much always be casting this for 1 green. You can shuffle up to 3 target cards from your graveyard into your library. And that's often going to mean doing something like shuffling in Lotus Petal, Thassa's Oracle after like you've gone for it and something went wrong in some capacity. A lot of times you don't get to try again because like there are these packs, but sometimes you do. Now, the astute viewer here might notice that this is a 61 card deck list, and I asked the folks in the Oops All Spells Discord, not discard, what's going on with that, because it didn't really make any sense to me. Essentially, what they said was Reanimate was worth a card in the deck list because it opens up some strange and unusual lines and gives you a lot of flexibility, but there's really no card that you can cut from the deck list because the main deck is so incredibly tight. So 61 it is. If you're kind of interested in some of the math behind 61 card deck lists, I do have an article on my website somewhere. I think it's under the Death and Taxes section. As far as the sideboard goes, we're mostly looking for free spells because we're not so much on the mana. So cards like Leyline of Sanctity, which might help us against things like, say, Endurance or a Bojuka Bog, can be very powerful, as can pitch cost cards like Force of Vigor that can get, your Rest in Peace or Chalice of the Void or whatever out of play. And then we have a legacy all-star of days past, Xantid Swarm, which is your way to fight against counterspell decks. So basically, we're going to see if this budget deck can hang with the big dogs of Legacy. Oops All Spells is often a deck that gets dumped on as immediately dying to graveyard hate, but given the tools that are in the sideboard to fight back, I'm not sure how true that actually is. Alright, let's jump into the matches here. If you're new here, or if you're a regular and you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. I'm trying to ump that count for reasons. And if you're a regular, throw me a like before this video begins. That's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. Alright, I definitely recognize my opponent's username as being a fan of the channel. How much mana do I have? Is my opponent dead? Doesn't look like it. So this is Spirit Guide, Wild Cantor. That's 1 black mana. I don't have the second mana that I need. If I draw any mana source, this hand kills on turn 1. Just mana source, Spirit Guide, Cantor. Do I leave that to fate? I don't know that I leave that to fate. I can find another hand that just kills my opponent on turn 1 in a different way. Alright, what happens if I put Narcomoeba back in deck? This is my land. 1 mana short again? Chromox Imprint. This is 3 starting mana, but this one has a pact. Alright. I'll keep this. Ooh. Opponent may be doing something unfair, although they might be playing the initiative. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. Life got a little harder. Not gonna lie to you. Life got a little harder. We're not dead. We're definitely not dead. I'm sitting here thinking about what I want to imprint, by the way. Probably don't have to worry about Wasteland from the initiative. I can play this untapped this turn. I don't know how comfortable I am with playing this creature out and doing a pass the turn line, because my opponent will have Solitude and maybe Swords game 1. Let's go ahead and do this untapped. Play a Chromox. Actually, I might need to do a two-turn line. I'll need 5 total mana to just win in a single turn. I could just imprint the Pact. Like, the Pact isn't good here. Let's do that. But we're hoping that our opponent has the Stomp Stomp side of the deck, not the Hate Hate side of the deck. It'll become apparent very quickly which it is. I'd probably be taking the Undercity Informer. Oh, no. Okay. Alright, I'm at 15. Summoner's Pact doesn't actually net me mana here. Breaks even because of Thalia. Unfortunate. I queue with Memory's Journey, right? Mill myself. Pass the turn. Set a stop in my upkeep. Upkeep Memory Journey myself, putting 3 cards back in my deck. Is that better than just waiting? I'm not sure that that's better than just waiting, though. I do not have reps against the initiative with this deck to know. Seems like it works. Just 100% confirm that the Memory's Journey is an instant. It is an instant. We'll only need to cast 1 spell. Yes, I think that works. Alright. Weird. I will just go ahead and pass the turn. There's no, like, sorcery speed restriction on this or anything. Anointed... Priest, Anointed... Peacekeeper? Anointed Peacekeeper is the problem card here, I think. Okay. Feels like Seasoned Dungeoneer. Oh, it's Palace Jailer. So, here we are. Just chilling. Man, that is a sweet Undercity Informer, you might say. And we're gonna make some Narcomoebas. Got 4 of them when that stack clears. Alright. You can draw your card. I'll go to my upkeep. In my upkeep, target player is how that works. Yeah. Target me. Do I only want to put 1 Lotus Petal in there? 1 Lotus Petal, 1 Thassa's Oracle. That way there's fewer cards in my library. That makes sense to me. Oh wait, hold on. I can just put literally anything in and then dread return Thassa's Oracle, right? Yeah, I have 3 Narcomoebas. I've got Bridge from Below. Yeah. Put some random card in there. Oh, I'm so sorry about this noise. Okay. Now that I can think again, I'll draw a card. Dread return. Targeting Thassa's Oracle. Paying the 1 for Thalia. Sacrificing these. And we've got game 1. Okay. So, what am I expecting from my opponent here? Probably 4x Leyline of the Void. Probably 4x Leyline of the Void. Probably means Force of Vigor and Foundation Breaker. Foundation Breaker is a one of because you can already search for it with Summoner's Pact. I'm gonna assume Pact of Negations are bad. And it doesn't seem like I want to do this all that much. So maybe Force of Vigor, Foundation Breaker. So if my opponent doesn't play a hate card on turn 1, and that's a pretty big if, but if they don't play a hate card on turn 1, Dark Ritual, Spirit Guide, Undercity Informer, sacrifice it, win. And I have a Force of Vigor in hand that I just need a green card for to beat a Leyline. Yep. I accept this. Sure. Game where I'm on the draw is definitely spooky. Alright. There's that Thalia. We're used to her. Green card? Not green card. I could just put an Undercity Informer in play. Have it chill there until I draw Force of Vigor. Or a green card for Force of Vigor. I don't really hate that. I don't really hate that. Pay the life, Dark Ritual, Undercity Informer, and that can chill there. My opponent will have maybe 8 answers to it. Just incredibly more mana efficient for me to just play this out, and it's also potentially much safer because I just like don't take chip damage from Thalia along the way. Not playing that here. I do not properly have the mana to do that. And I am not going to try to like get into combat and race my opponent here. I don't think that's realistically happening. Alright. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Seasoned Dungeoneer. The initiative game begins. Seasoned Dungeoneer is not going to trigger this turn. Thalia is a human soldier, whereas Seasoned Dungeoneer requires Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, or Wizard. That said, Seasoned Dungeoneer will kill us quickly. Well, Forge is going to happen here. Presumably forging up Thalia, so Thalia's attacks become safe. And we're poised to take either 7 or 8 damage this turn. Oh, holding the Thalia back is interesting. I don't know that that's correct. I think you're not worried about your own life total there. Alright, there's the green card that I need. So you can only Force of Vigor on your opponent's turn for the alternate cost. I get trapped here for 5 life. And like now we can see the difference between my opponent's attack last turn happening and not happening. Like, I'm potentially just alive for another turn. That doesn't matter. Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's just one more thing that eats it to the Force of Vigor. Alright, so my opponent explores. Get in a Ganjo. I will go to 6. Yeah, I think my opponent not attacking potentially loses them this game. Leyline. Chalice. A1. Pitch this. Now, like, they can just remove my creature here. They have Solitude. It will be very good. Alright, I could use a mana source. No. But what's the plan? I can't do the thing here. Like, I can do the thing. I can get everything into my graveyard. I don't have green mana showing. Reanimate's not doing anything right now. I just need to pass the turn again, despite removing those. That's really unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky to not already be dead, though, to be fair. Like, if my opponent's Thalia had attacked, like, I was a goner. White Plume's very good. Throne of the Dead 3 should handily beat me. This looks at 10 cards. Fine, showing my opponent my hand. And now my opponent attacks with both of these. I'm forced to chomp. Yup. There's a Palace Jailer as well. Alright. I am comfortable throwing in the towel here. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do any play draw adjustments here. Seems like this is what I've got. This first hand has a whole lot of nothing. I have all the mana in the world, but nowhere to go with it. This hand is kind of the same. It's all mana, no relevant card. My opponent's begun with 7, which is real bad. I will be going to 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This, in theory, turn 1s on 5 cards. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a keep. Therapy can go away. Both of these are pretty meh. Thoughtseize will go away. I'm going to die to a Leyline. which is pretty likely that my opponent has, but I don't think there's... Like, I don't think I can go deeper than this looking for Force of Vigor. I think I just hold this as my green card and hope that things kind of go my way. Maybe I'm supposed to just play out this creature on turn 1, but like with the Solitude type effects around, I don't know how comfortable I am doing that. Let's see how bad this is. Jailer. Thalia, 3 games in a row? Thalia, 3 games in a row. Alright. That's a Force of Vigor. That's real good. I think I do that in my opponent's upkeep at the cost of Simian Spirit Guide. Getting a little punished for not playing this out on turn 1. Playline, Chrome Mox, play with Spirit Guide, exile a green card. I don't know, I guess even if I did play this out on turn 1, I'm still a mana source short of activating it and another mana source short of going off through Thalia, so maybe that's not actually true. Oof. Yep. That's very good. So that very quickly will take the Undercity Informer, and I'm going to eat a Lava Axe worth of damage every turn. We got a little unlucky that my opponent had a Soul Land there to just, like, immediately keep the pressure on me. That would have been the mana needed to activate that. I still would have needed 1 more for the win. Yep! I take 5 here. I go to 13. Can't really imagine myself winning from here very easily. Play this tapped. I effectively have 4 of the 6 mana that I need to do this. Cost is increased by 2, so its cost is up to 5, plus another 1 to activate it. Oof. It's just keep coming. I think I'm probably dead next turn. Oh, there's more. Rough. Yeah, I can't imagine winning from here. I'm at 8. This is 3, 6, 7, 8 showing. Like my draw step, just like in case I'm somehow wrong, that I can't imagine anything that gets me back from here. 3, 4, 5 mana. I can cast this. Yeah, this is just no good for me. I will concede here. GG's. All right, round 2 opening hand. I'm on the draw. This is 1, 2, maybe 3 mana imprinting this Summoner's Pact for a Spirit Guide. 4 mana Balustrade Spy, Pact of Negation backup. Seems great. My opponent is mulliganing to 4 cards. Probably means that they are another unfair combo deck like Reanimator. No play on their first turn. It is their turn. No play on their first turn. Okay. Battle. Chrome Mox. Imprint Informer. Summoner's Pact. Elvish Spirit Guide. 4 mana including the Spirit Guide. Balustrade Spy. Target myself. Heals everything. Let's always yes to that. Always yield. And before I get a chance to Cabal Therapy my opponent, they concede, so I don't see what they are. My guess is that they are an unfair graveyard-based strategy that didn't quite get there, but I don't know for sure. Just talking about one thing, I would have need to use 1 Cabal Therapy to target my opponent to see what deck they were, and then I would need to use 1 Cabal Therapy to target myself to get the Dread Return out of my hand. Okay. Now, it is a leap of faith to assume that my opponent is on Reanimator, but I don't think it's unreasonable. I probably need to stop discard spells on me, and I probably need surgicals. I feel comfortable that Pact of Negation can go out. And referencing the primer stickied in the Discord, they suggest either 2 Chrome Mox or 2 Cabal Ritual can come out. Do 2 Cabal Ritual. I don't know enough about the deck to know the difference between boarding out 2 Chrome Mox or 2 Ritual. I have 2 mana here. That is not nearly enough, and I don't think I want to play fair with a Thoughtseize on the draw. Opponent's mulliganed. All mulligan. How's this hand? It has a Leyline of Sanctity, so that my stuff can't get disrupted. Opponent's going to 5. That's 2, kind of 3 mana. I think I keep this. I can pitch 1 Spy since I have a Leyline to protect the other one. Also, just to say this in case it happens, I do randomly have 1 Reanimate in my deck, which would be really funny. Oh. Okay. Yeah, That's fair. You have to pass the turn, though. So, I only have, what, 1/2 mana here? I don't think I have a way to win with that already in play. Alright, unfortunate. Let's go to game 3. I think we're already boarded correctly, right? Like, it just seems like this is the, like, I don't have a lot of flexibility in the cards in my sideboard, so it seems like this is probably fine. Alright, run it back. This has a lot of mana, but nothing to do with it. Mulligan. This has a ley line, but that's not really interesting. I would rather just try to win the game on my own here. I will go to 5. Opponent has begun the game with 7 cards. This will be my 5-card hand. I can keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if my opponent doesn't open up on a ley line, I can try to play this attrition game where I do have 2 basic lands. I think this is fine. It is, however, very risky. I think I accept. Alright. Pay 3 life. Thoughtseize target you. My opponent only has 1 relevant card here. They'll be taking their Undercity Informer. And hoping that they don't spike another one. I lose the game if they draw a Balustrade Spy or an Undercity Informer. Alright. First of all, ow. Alright, Cabal Therapy. Target you. I can take out 2 cards by taking out Summoner's Pact. And then I can take out, like, Cabal Ritual afterwards. Okay. Opponent's got mana. Thoughtseize you. Can't really take them off 4 mana, though, no matter what I take, right? Yeah. I guess taking the persistent mana is better then. Guess I'll take Turn Timber Symbiosis. So we're basically in top deck mode, like who finds it first? Not me this turn. This is a very, very silly game. Okay, yep. That doesn't matter here, because I do have a Dark Ritual, so I can get up to 4 mana that I need to win immediately. Yeah, I will, I'll go to 8. Take your Cabal Ritual. Alright. I have done 12 points of damage to myself. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's double Simian Spirit Guide. I have 1 turn. I need to rip it here. Yu-Gi-Oh! Fuck. Alright, GG's. My opponent gets to combo off here. Concede. Let's look at one more card. Let's look at one more card. Oh, I can't. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, which is a deck hosting website, and I'm really a big fan of using these for my EDH decks in particular, because you can use these little blue bubbles to keep track of which cards you do and don't have when you're starting to build your decks. And if you have one, but not that exact art that you have up, it'll be in a gray bubble instead. And this has just been so convenient as I kind of sort through my collection and figure out what I need to purchase for my decks. Okay, my starting hand has 1/2 mana, can color fix for black, but I think I just need to mulligan this one. Whereas this one doesn't have one of my 8 payoff cards, but has 1,000,000,000 mana. Go to 5 here. One is a black source away from winning. I gotta just go to 4 though. This is good. Right, 1, 2, 3. Or maybe 1, 2, so that I guarantee I have black 3, 4. Any mana source wins me the game. Wait, I have to put back 3 cards. Bridge goes back. Romox goes back. Guaranteeing the black is more important, I think, than keeping 1 extra Spirit Guide. This is not quite the turn 1 we were hoping for. Fuck, Chalice. Oh, okay. So we're probably playing against like a mono red or maybe blue red storm or storm adjacent deck list. Yes, yes, please cast Echo of Eons. Get me into a broken hand, please. Bye. 1, 2, 3. This is a turn 1 win if my opponent doesn't turn 1 win me or wheel again. Uh-huh. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so we're playing against the Riddler, actually, which is another all-in combo deck. that is built around, I believe the cards are Riddlesmith and Containment Construct. And I'll explain them once we see them. Okay. Here's one of the first cards that we're going to care about. Whenever you discard a card, you can exile it from your graveyard. If you do, you can play that card this turn. So unfortunately, my opponent is going to Echo again. They're going to discard an LED to cast an Echo. And we repeat this process. My hand now sucks. It has one mana source. Echo again, you coward. Uh-oh. Opponent has seen my Narcomoeba. Opponent has seen my Thoughtseize. Alright, I'm F6'd. Like, do your thing. Man, why didn't they pass the turn after my previous hand? Would have been so much better for me. I believe my line here is to discard a Balustrade Spy so that I can work towards reanimating it. Now, does that require me to draw a one-of in my deck? Yes, absolutely, it does. However, I think that's what I'm playing towards right now. We got really unlucky with our second, or I guess third 7 from redraws. Alright, I assume at this point we're not going to win. But my opponent can just use LED like Black Lotus now. So as you can see, all these cards are going to get exiled by Containment Construct. So my opponent will be able to play them. Now only this turn, but when you get to use LED like Black Lotus, it's not particularly fair. So this is namesake card number 2 from this deck list. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Now, if discarding the card is not a downside because you control Containment Construct, then things are pretty good. Breakthrough, for example, becomes just a straight, 1 blue mana draw 4 spell. There's a Grape Shot. My opponent has shown me a win condition and mana required to cast it. I think I am comfortable just conceding here and not making them play it out. So this is a new deck, so this one is probably not going to be in this guide. I don't really know what my opponent's going to have in terms of sideboard cards. First deck list I saw is a split of Fairy Macabre and Leyline of the Void, which is horrific. Okay. I don't want to board versus that. My opponent's deck is not so much going to be with the counter spells, so I could probably do something like this or these at a minimum. We board out one. The reanimate is probably not good here. My opponent is randomly going to be sweeping the graveyard from play. I think I'm good with this. I could try to mess around with surgical extraction, but I do not have starting black mana here, so this hand is a mulligan. Assuming one card goes back. Chromox, imprint, some card. Summoner's Pact, 2 starting mana, go to 1 mana. Wild Cantor, 1 mana short, right? Imprint this, 1 mana. Wild Cantor. This and this cast Cabal Ritual. This is 1 mana short of winning. Just mulligan? Probably just mulligan. Well, that one's not going to work. Go to 4. My 4-card hand has no way to win the game. 3? As a 4-card hand, I would be keeping, like, land, Chromox, something to imprint under it, Spirit Guide, and hoping for the best. Like, have 1, 2, 3 mana. I guess I hope that my opponent refuels me. Unhappy with this. I think I have to throw that back as well. Classic. Alright. I don't regret my decision, by the way. Like, I know I got punished for it, but I do not regret it. Because I think I need these persistent mana sources, and I think I need to keep this if I'm going to have any chance at realistically keeping up with my opponent's deck's speed. Urza's Saga is a reasonable way to just beat me down with fair cards. Well, well, well. During your upkeep, I have some words for you. That was incredibly lucky on my end. Still a decent ways away from actually winning the game. Yep, that's fine. Summoner's Pact is another source of mana. I am 2 away from going off, and I also need the thing to let me go off. Take your card. I don't think I realistically beat my opponent from here unless they wheel. And they definitely, I think, would know not to wheel from this position, right? Like, they can just poke me with a couple of big dumb cards, and it will do just fine in terms of ending my life. Yeah, exactly this, right? I take 2 this turn, 6 next turn, and a much larger amount every turn after that due to the Urza Saga token. Okay. Next turn I can draw one of my payoff cards, and I do win the game. Sure. Yeah, but this is a lot of damage for plan B here. Come on. Am I literally dead next turn? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Probably have to use Force of Vigor to stay alive. Leaves me in a pretty bad spot. I assume my opponent makes another construct just to grow this. Basically always die next turn. I guess if my opponent behaves in a way where I'm not facing down lethal this turn, don't do anything. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I am being presented with lethal. I guess let's protect my life total to the best of my ability here. Exiling the green card. Doesn't matter too much what I attack here. I'm dead next turn regardless. And I think I'm 1 mana short of just, like, going off and potentially having any winning lines. Opponent, would you like to give me a winning line? What's happening here? For a minute, I thought they were gonna wheel. Oh? Oh? This feels wrong if they wheel. Okay, yeah. That draw will not do it, and I am facing lethal on board. I am dead. GG's. Alright, round 4. I have 1 starting mana. One's an easy mulligan. I have no starting black mana. This one's an easy mulligan. I'm on 5. This is a turn 1 win, right? 1 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, play activate. Absolute keep. We'll put the Narcomoebas back into the deck so we can fish them out later. Just like playing Elf. Eh? Elf? No? We are just going for it, by the way. That was the best draw on the deck. Absolutely. Dark Ritual. Alright, we are seeing movement. Island? Daze. Active negation a daze. That's where we're at right now. I can't pay for it right now. So this is a... Oh, no, okay, it's not a misplay. They did it right. So this is a Force of Will targeting Dark Ritual. So the Dark Ritual resolves. Now my Pact of Negation resolves, countering Daze, and I'm going to die on my next turn. GG's. Surgical Extraction in game 1? What the fuck? I'm not going to let you see my whole deck list. Surgical Extraction in game 1? The fuck? The fuck am I playing against? Is this some, like, cheeky Delver bullshit? I'm gonna guess this is just some cheeky Delver bullshit and, like, board for Delver, I guess. I'll probably play the 4 Xantid Swarm and just generically board this in case there's something that I can't really deal with. I board out some mana. Seems like this is boarding out an awful lot of mana sources to me. Yeah, board out the Reanimate. Just keep 1 more Mox. I think I'm gonna trust my gut here. This just feels like I'm boarding out too many mana sources. Okay, does this turn 1? Turn Timber, Wild Cantor. That gets me black mana. So this is 1 black mana. Dark Ritual, 3 mana, 4 mana, Balustrade Spy, Summoner Pact, 1 more mana beyond that, plus Pact of Negation as backup. About the best that I could possibly hope for. Here we go. A3 life. Wild Cantor. Sacrifice Wild Cantor for black for Dark Ritual. There is a Force of Will. I will Pact of Negation that. See if what I'm doing is good enough here. Cast a Summoner's Pact. Get a Spirit Guide out of my deck. Cast a Balustrade Spy. One of the Spirit Guides. Do this. Target myself. Loop all 4 Narcomoebas into play. Wall Therapy, target my opponent. Sacrificing a Narcomoeba. We're doing this mostly to just see what's over there. Search Ashiok. Okay. Noted. Annoying. Yeah, you should have conceded before I saw what you were doing. Appreciated. So my opponent is on blue, black, Ashiok. Ashiok target. Need to reread that card. Ah, fuck. So it does target, but it says target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard, then exile each opponent's graveyard. So my opponent can target themselves and still nuke my graveyard. So I can't really play around that by boarding in Leyline. So how many counter spells is my opponent gonna have? Should I play one more Chrome Mox or one more Ritual or something? Have ley lines to worry about? Opponent's on main deck Surgical. Maybe they don't have ley lines. Maybe they do have ley lines. I don't think I can board out Foundation Breaker. I think it's too risky. This is in theory a turn 1 win that does have an extra mana to Thoughtseize my opponent. So I will be keeping this. My opponent has also kept their 7. My plan is Lotus Petal, Thoughtseize my opponent. Make sure the coast is clear. Then Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Simian Spirit Guide, Undercity Informer, Sacrifice, and Bob's your uncle. Okay. My hand now does nothing. So I'm gonna make an Undercity Informer on turn 1 and try to beat my opponent to death with it. Ruin Crab. Okay. Now we're actually seeing what my opponent is doing. They are a mill deck. Actually kind of bad for me while that leyline is in play. Guess I play out the other petal. Dark Ritual. Undercity Informer. Pass the turn. This is chilling in play. In case I do end up drawing the Foundation Breaker. Alright, so they've got Chrome Mox to go faster. They're imprinting a Brainstorm. Okay. Yes. Alright, that mills a lot of cards. I get to watch all my things tick away before my eyes. 3 Summoner's Pact gone. Memory's Journey is gone. 1 Narcomoeba gone. Life's not great. Undercity Informer can't attack through these crabs. I'm a mana short of going off here, right? Summoner's Pact 4 Foundation Breaker, 2 mana Evoke, 1 mana short of going off. Yeah, 1 mana short of going off. So, I need some very specific things to happen here. I need my opponent to not hit Foundation Breaker. Okay. Now I can't search my library. So this is not going to be an out for Foundation Breaker anymore, but I couldn't just cast that and pass the turn because I don't have the mana to pay for the pact. Well, everything's bad, basically. I guess I can draw Force of Vigor right here. I'm not technically dead. However, I don't think I have a path to victory. Alright, I mill 4 more from Ashiok. At any point the Thassa's Oracle leaves, I'm dead. Okay. Okay. Do I do it now? My opponent has 1 card. A Force of Will isn't live. A Daze is. This not being a mana source right now sucks. I think I am gonna go for this. My opponent's last card is Daze. We fucking riot. Alright. Destroy the leyline. Yes, I will use that ability. I don't even know if I'm live anymore to win. Got 3 Narcomoebas exiled. So like, I have other problems. For sure. Hey, it's a Narcomoeba. On its remaining card is Surgical Extraction. Alright, fuck it. I'm out. I'm out. We're 0-4 in this league. Normally I'd drop, but I wanted like fucking win a match. Let's try again. Alright, final round. On the draw. I have 1, 2, 3, more than enough mana to play Balustrade Spy, and I can also Thoughtseize. This is a keep. Alright, we are playing against 8 cast. So I probably win game 1 here, I imagine. So let's play this. Untapped. Cast a Dark Ritual. I have an extra mana, so I can take the time to check and see if my opponent has a Force of Will. They do have a Force of Will. Look at that. Look at that Force of Will. Opponent might have won if they cracked their bobble. Exile 2 Spirit Guides. Balustrade Spy. Target myself. And we've got the win. Alright, this is what we're supposed to be doing. So, I'm supposed to bring in Foundation Breaker for sure. The primer here says some players bring in Force of Vigor. I see this is super questionable. Cast is a blue deck and can easily counter it. You have no way of protecting Force of Vigor cast on their turn. You can protect a Foundation Breaker on your turn. Alright. I buy that, I think. And yeah, I think this is okay. I'm like eyeing Xantid Swarm a little bit, conceptually. A better deal with my opponent's counterspells specifically, but I guess I can attack their hand via discard. This has no starting black mana and no payoff card. Easy mulligan. This has a lot of mana, no payoff card. Easy mulligan again, unfortunately. I am on 5 cards. No payoff card. Reluctant. Sad fucking mulligan. Okay. 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw any black mana source. Attempt to go off on turn 1. That's as good as we're gonna get. On those cards of the Shadow Realm. I'm dead to a counterspell, but that's what game 3 is for. Sure. Memory is fine. I mean, like, it's very good here. Can potentially, like, find a Tormod script that can be recurred again and again and again. That is... Get me to a Wild Cantor. That still leaves me 1 mana short, right? Do this for Wild Cantor, black, 3. Yeah, that's 1 mana short. Have to play this and pass the turn. So we haven't seen the thing that made my opponent's hand keepable yet. Like, they know they're playing against Oops All Spells, so presumably they have some sort of counterspell over there. Do things get better if I wait? I am not in a position where I have black mana to draw a discard spell. If I find one. I draw a Pact, which would be nice. Every draw I give my opponent is more draws towards a Force of Will type effect. I can just jam and see if my opponent just doesn't have it, and if they were trying to, like, find something with Emery, but it seems like that's a losing line. I don't know that it really gets better for me, but it feels like I lose if I go for it. Just naked here. My opponent only technically has 1 point of damage in play at, like, 1 point of power per turn cycle right now. Like, that's about to speed up a lot, but I think I'd rather wait a draw or 2. This may be me playing too conservatively here, but I can't really imagine my opponent keeping their hand based on what I've seen so far. Now, this is about to get a piece of graveyard hate that Emery can recur. I think this is my moment. Cast Summoner's Pact. Get Wild Cantor. Cast Wild Cantor. Make black mana. Cast Cabal Ritual. Cast Undercity Informer, which almost certainly is a counterspell. Really? Target me. Saving Spirit Guide. Sacrifice this. Do its own ability. I still have Memory's Journey accessible for if my opponent has a surgical or something. Fairy. Targeting Narcomoeba. Okay. So my plan is now... what? Memory's Journey. Thassa's Oracle. Lotus Petal? Choose target me. Choose Thassa's Oracle. Lotus Petal. Paying green. Alright, the fairy resolved, taking out some Narcomoebas. Oh shit, that was a second fairy that happened there. That's fine. I'm just, like, trying not to die in 3 attack steps now. Graveyard doesn't matter. Opponent should get a Chalice on 0 here, and then I just instantly lose. Okay, that seems like an error. Graveyard just doesn't matter anymore. That's not what this game is about. Although this isn't a mistake if they just have a Chalice in their hand, to be fair. Alright, they're taking out my Dread Return. Again, doesn't matter. Takes 6 damage this turn. So that puts me to 12. I guess there's no possible way that I can draw. Oh, shit, there's also this. Alright, we'll just die to that then. That's fine. I think I keep this as is. Sworm's potentially playable. This has no payoff card. This is an automatic mulligan. Has no payoff card. This is an automatic mulligan. This has no payoff card. You know what I'm gonna say? The fucking automatic mulligan. I don't even fucking believe this. Mulligan. This is fucking awful. Alright, keep. I can't possibly do this, or this. I have lost this game. 100% I have lost this game before this game started. I am just not going to be anywhere near as fast or consistent as my opponent's deck. Let's see what they can do here. Cool. Alright. Sure. I think I'm done with this league. This is an 05. Alright, so obviously that league didn't go well. I will say I think we got extremely unlucky at multiple points in this league, and my inexperience with this deck list probably caused me to mulligan too much or not enough, depending on the circumstances. But overall, I think I give this one a thumbs down. Like, I don't know that I really want to stake my tournament results on a deck list as volatile as this one. It's not like there was one reason why I was repeatedly losing games. Like, not drawing one of these initial 8 cards is like automatically making your hand a mulligan. Like, that just is what it is. But there were plenty of other times where like I didn't have either enough mana or appropriate colors of mana. Like, maybe I'm too, I don't know, risk averse towards keeping some of these opening hands, but I mulled into Oblivion looking for good hands, and I just got punished. We did play against some really weird stuff, like we got hit by an Ashiok deck that has surgical extractions in the main deck, and there were multiple times where I went for a turn 1 and just like got stopped. It's like it is what it is. That comes with the territory. I was really happy with like the Memories Journey lines. I liked those a lot. Game 1 in particular showed that off. But overall, while this is a great budget deck list, you know, clocking in at 250 ticks, and the paper version is pretty affordable as well. I think it's in like the ballpark, maybe $500 to $800 range without actually looking it up. Like, this is a great potential budget entry point to Legacy. Like, no dual lands here. But this deck didn't feel good today, and maybe it'll feel better some other days, but this one gets the old thumbs down from me. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on your way out, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya!